Hi there, and welcome to Deep Sky Shed. Today I'm going to show you how to make an image like this one of the Rosette Nebula using a process we call Megastacking. I'm going to show you my workflow from beginning to end using Pixinsight. So let's go. Although I'm working with other people's stacks, they could just as easily be my own. This method will allow you to stack thousands of subs over an extended period of time, which will allow you to capture objects with much lower noise and also capture details of much fainter objects than would otherwise be possible. Okay, so to save a bit of time, what I've done is I've already just been through the substacks, had a little look at them and kind of sorted out the ones I want to use. So I'm just going to bring these here. I've got them in this folder here. Look, I'm just going to drag these onto the desktop. Okay, I'll get rid of that. So my first thing to do would be just to have a look at them. What I'm needing to do first is to select the master frame. So the frame that effectively is going to be the one that frames the whole image. So what I'm really looking for is I'm looking for an image that frames the whole object nicely, that is pretty sharp, then that has nice stars, and that is binned one by one, because that is going to be the one that sets everything else. So that's my first thing. Is I generally would look through each frame and just try and pick out what I think might be the best one. So I'm just using the screen transfer just to stretch things, have a look at them. So I have a look at one. I already know which one it is, to be honest, because I've done it, so probably not much point me doing too much of this, but anyway, I'll just quickly go through them. So this is the one I had selected to be the master. Very nice, nice sharp, the whole thing is, and nicely framed. So I'm going to put that up at the top so I know that's my master. So next step, we go to processes, we go to image registration, and we go to star alignment. And we want to actually go for the source files. So we go for file, and we click this arrow on the end here, and I can go, right, okay, I want my source. And I was going to pick this one, the master, Fernando Master. Open that. Now that's made this the reference image. So what this actual process does is this is the one that's going to line them all up. It doesn't actually stack them, it just lines them all up. So we need a reference image and all the others will be aligned relative to that reference image. So that's that bit. So we've got all that. Next thing we need to do is add all the files. Again, same thing. So we add all the files, including the reference, to this list. There they are. We set an output directory. So yeah, I've created a folder called registered. That's the one I'm going to use. And pretty much that's it now. The rest of it you can leave as default. So I'm going to just execute this now. The round button, which is executes the whole thing globally. And this is going to do it. As you can see, it's pretty quick. This is why I like to do this and not use the WBPP script, just because you can get rid of a lot of bloat you can do it much quicker this way. Really, you're only doing the bare minimum you need to do. So that's that done. So we can close this process window now. Next thing we're going to do is to actually stack them. So we go again, process, then we go image integration, we add all the files, So we now need to go to the registered folder. These are all the aligned files. I'll just go Control A, select them all and add them all to the list. Now we can try a few different things here. I think we'll leave combination on average for the moment. The beauty of this actually is you can just try different settings here. Again, with the WBPP script, it takes so long you would never do this. But when you're doing what we're doing is taking individual parts of the WBPP script, we're taking the individual chunks of it and doing them separately, and it means you can experiment much more readily with this. So I'm just going to go up to the next, or down to the next section, and I think we're going to try Winsorized Sigma clipping. I don't think there's any kind of one size fits all to this. Every single thing you do, every target you process will have its own challenges, and you might do things slightly different. So experiment. That's the beauty, as I say, of breaking it down like this. So I'm just going to hit again the Apply Global button, execute that. And it's just stacking them all together. And that's done. So I can just close that window for the moment. Beauty of this is if I actually did decide to go back to that window when I open it, it will still have all those settings. So I don't have to enter all that stuff again. I'm going to get rid of the high rejection mask, but I'm going to keep the low one because that might be useful. It could be useful to be used as a mask later on in the process. So I'm going to keep that. I'll stick that up left and keep that out of the way. And then we'll just stretch this, do a temporary stretch, see what we've got. Yeah, we have a few artifacts. Let's try it without any rejection for a minute. Bearing in mind, all of the initial sub stacks will already have had rejection, so there's probably really no need for it. I might be over processing, and that's why I like to keep this really simple. I don't want to just reprocess stuff that's already been done. So let's try it again without rejection. Okay, so next thing we'll do is we'll just take the stars out. So I'm going to go to Star Exterminator. Obviously you could use StarNet. Yeah, I don't like this much, look. It's got quite a strong line across that. That's going to be quite hard to get rid of, actually. This is the problem with this, so I don't know, I think I might just play with some other ideas here a minute. I'm going to try percentile, I think. So I'm really looking for something that's going to smooth out, do a better job of these transitions, smooth them out a bit. Let's have a look at this one. No, that's no better. Going to turn that up a bit, a lot to maximum. Just see what that gives me. It's all good fun. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. But it's definitely, yes, it's definitely improved that. Smoothed out that much better in the area I was worried about. Okay, so back to that one now. I think I'm going to really bite the bullet, close all these. Right, so we'll do the same with that now. This is another job for the Star Exterminator. Hit apply and off we go. So I've got my nice stars here, they're all separate. I'm going to put those up at the top, keep them out of the way, and there it is. It's looking pretty nice, isn't it, actually? We're going to do a narrowband version of this now, so it's quite important. I like to try and make sure that the colour channels are properly balanced, because using filters, these filters does seem to knock the balance out quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use channel extraction, and what that's going to do is it's going to take this image and it's going to turn it into red, green and blue colour channels. So just click that, there you go, and I've now got 3 monochrome images, red, green, blue. So we'll just stretch those up and have a little look at them. And what I'm now looking for is the strongest. Now, I'm sure some people will tell me that I should be looking for the weakest, and maybe they're right, but I generally go for the strongest. Because the idea is now that I'm going to balance the other two channels against the strongest. So the one that's the brightest, more contrasty one, well, obviously the blue channel is weaker, which is normal. I would expect the blue channel to be fairly nasty and quite noisy. These two are rather good. I think that the red channel has it, so I'm going to go with the red channel. Let's just put that down there a minute. Then I'm going to use another process here, so I'm going to go to all processes, one called linear fit. So I've decided I'm going to use the red channel, so I pick the red channel, which is going to be in here, and it's this one here, integration 4R. Okay, and that's my reference image. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this tool onto the other 2 images by just grabbing the little triangle here and dragging it onto the image. And as you can see, it's adjusted the intensity of that image. Basically, it's trying to match them all up so that they're properly balanced. And that is, you know, this is all, the point of this is to try and get the colours right, really. So do again, same thing with the green. Okay, that just needs to be re-stretched. I'll just reset that and stretch it again. There you go. And that's it, basically. That's all I really wanted to do with those. And what I'm now going to do is to put them back together again. And for that, I'm going to use the channel combination tool. Integration for red, green, blue. Hit the apply global button. Okay, and there it is. Again, I'll just stretch that up. So that has now been colour balanced. I'll get rid of these individual channels now, I don't want them anymore. Okay, and now I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it BG underscore RGB. Okay, I'm going to put this one out of the way now. We'll keep it because I like to have these things copies at various points during the process, so I can always pop back if I need to. I don't have to necessarily then start again from scratch if it all starts going horribly wrong. I think what we're going to do next is we are going to crop it a little. Hit the dynamic crop. Just stretch the window out a little bit so I can see the edges. Right, so I don't know, something like maybe like that and that. I'll call it like that. will come in at the bottom a bit. So we want to just, I don't want to cut data off really, but I think that might be okay. I will go with that. Okay, so hit the crop. That's that. Let's go for the narrowband normalization, Bill Blanchard's narrowband normalization tool. We're just going to hit the preview button. Now we can start having a look at different palettes. So just see what they come up with. So that's your SHO, that's your standard palette. That's probably the one we're going to go with, to be honest. But of course you could do different ones. You've also got to figure out how this is going to look more saturated. But I'm going to stick with SHO. Okay, so I'm going to apply that to the image. Okay. Now you might try background extraction. It's always worth a try just to see what happens. So I'll try AB to start with. I want subtraction. I'll discard the background model because I don't want to keep that. We'll try it at defaults and see what we get. Okay. That's pretty nice actually. That is pretty good. I quite like that one. What I might do as well is try, actually I'll tell you what, Toolbox Expert. Okay, see what that thinks of it. Yeah, I actually think that's okay. I'm just going to change this to something else. NB. I'm going to stretch this now. So to do that, I'm going to open the histogram transfer window. Get my screen transfer window there. Then drag the little triangle from screen transfer to histogram transfers footer. And then drag the little triangle from histogram transfer back to the image. The image goes white, which means it's worked. Click reset, and that is now stretched. So I can actually have a little look at this by, what's this called, BGMB Gurex. Okay, so there's the histogram for this one, and I'm going to just adjust this actually. I'll just go to the real-time preview. I'm going to move that in. I don't want to really start clipping much data, so I think that's far enough. I might move that back to the middle, but not too much. I think that's quite nice. So I'm going to leave that at that for the moment. And this is where I'm going to bring the curves in. So again, we'll just go into the preview mode. I'll get rid of that. Okay, so we can do stuff like, let's just try and pull up the brightness a little bit, increase the contrast. That's pretty nice. I might execute that. I don't want to quite go that far, so I'm going to just reset that. Then I'm going to start with the saturation. Get a bit more colour into this. Small stretches. Small stretches. Now, this is where I will look at a reference image. As you can see, we're not a million miles away. It looks a bit, obviously the yellows are a bit stronger in this, a bit more yellow, just a bit brighter, a bit more vibrant. But yeah, that gives me an idea. So you can see this is where I'm going. Let's see how far I can get. Okay, so yellow. So we could just try dropping the blue channel and see what we get. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. We could just try dropping the green channel and see what we get. That's what I meant to say. No. That didn't work either. Okay, so I'm going to try increasing the... Actually, I'm going to try increasing the red. I might have been right first time, actually, when I said blue. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to quite get that level of yellow because this isn't a true narrowband image because we're missing one of the channels. But let's see what we can do. I'm going to keep playing just with the curves here on different color channels, trying to brighten it up a bit. But it's always problematic. You get one thing right and you mess something else up. I mean, I'm really looking for this color here to be a little more turquoise. Yeah, that might be nearer, actually. That might be nearer. Yeah, I'm going to set that at that for a minute. Reset it, and then I'm going to go back and start adding a bit more saturation, just a little step at a time. Little step at a time. Right, so let's just have a look. Quite like that. I do quite like that. Let's reset that. I'm going to now try again with the just do a bit more brightness contrast stuff. Again, you've got to be really careful. You don't want to overdo it. This is actually showing me how it will be when I click this square button, because the square button will apply it to the image that's actually sitting underneath. So I can kind of see when I've gone too far, and when I've gone too far, it's only the preview that's gone too far, and it means that the window underneath will still have the previous setting. So that's really good, because it means I just keep going, and when I feel I've gone too far, I stop, and the underlying image should be good. Okay, well, I think for a minute that's pretty good, actually. So I'm going to take that off for the moment. Now this is where I'm going to try and use, just see if I can use this mask. So if you remember, I kept this mask. Now, one little problem is this mask is the full-sized image, and I've actually cropped this image. So that's a problem, because the two images are now different and they wouldn't line up properly. But what I can do, I've just gone to the history here, by the way. What I can do is go to the history, and I can find out, I can't remember which one now, there it is. So I've gone to the history of everything that I've done to this image, and here's where I cropped it. So what I can actually do is just drag that crop over onto there, and I've now cropped the rejection mask to exactly the same coordinates as the original image. Pretty cool, really pretty cool. That's a real get out of jail when you forget to do something. Very, very handy. Now I'm going to drag that over to the left hand side of the main image, and I've now made it into a mask. The thing is, I can use this mask to deal with the edges, hopefully, of this image. That's what my idea is. So I'm just going to open up the curves again. And just to try something a bit drastic, let's just see what happens. There you are. So you can see what I can now do is just, in fact, that's not really going to help me much, having said all that. Probably isn't anyway. First thing I noticed though is I've got quite a lot of blue in the corners of that image, so I might just try and remove the blue. No, I'm not keen on that really. I think we'll forget the mask. I just don't think the mask is going to help me, so I'll just go up to here, remove mask. That's fine. This is where we use a little bit of very selective curves. So I'm going to anchor the top half of the curve, and this is the kind of the darker areas, more of the contrast bit of the image. And I'm going to just try and remove the blue from the edges. There you are, and that's what I've done, which has kind of worked out very nicely actually. Apply that. Then we'll just see if we can't just do the same kind of idea. Again, I'll put a few anchor points in because I don't want the whole thing to curve. That will start dimming the middle of the image. I'm just looking to get around the edges, the darker areas. Instantly, if you click on the image, you can see it's creating these lines here. You can see where each of the three color channels is lying within the curve. So it's all on the left, so I know that all this stuff is in the left. If I go to this stuff, it's much more spread out. But even then, it's still a bit of a problem because, as you can see, the red channel is still, in some of that, the red channel there, for example, is still quite low down. I think at this point, I'm going to try a bit of noise reduction. Yeah. Let's go for halfway and see what we get. I'll just execute it and see what happens. Can always go back. Yeah, that's pretty nice actually. We could try deconvolution. Let's just try that. Interesting to just try it, see what happens. It's quite quick. Actually quite nice. Okay. Okay. Denoise. Let's try denoising that. Pretty nice, isn't it? Next naughty little trick is going to be to get rid of that line. So we go to all of these, clone stamp, holding down the control key, selecting a point. I'm going to give this a size of say about 50. Let's see how I like that. Yeah, maybe a bit more actually, 100. Can't go that big anyway with this. I'm going to start here. And then I'm going to just go there, and then I'm going to just, and then I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to just get this out of the way. There you are. All gone. Now, stars. This is where the fun starts. We get the stars. Now we're going to have to do the same thing here. I need to get my little dynamic crop, pop that in there. Thank you. And then I'm going to call this just stars. Then I'm going to call this just BG for background. So that's BG, stars and BG. Get my stars combination pixel math ready, which is going to be stars, BG. So that's given us an idea of what we've got. Yeah, so that's not bad. So let's try and make these stars look at least a bit nice. Okay, well the first thing, try and give them a bit of colour and stuff. I'll try a bit of saturation. We're going to do a little double curve like that. Execute. It's nice. Just we don't want any green in that. We want this. Right, we have to just keep working at them. That's what we have to do. So let's just hit the stars in. So we'll try deconvolution. We'll try standard deviation of 2 and 10 iterations. Away we go. Quite nice. Actually, that is quite nice. That's probably quite nice, to be fair. Let's try it. Yeah, I think so. I think that's quite nice. What I might do now the next thing I try is, do I add the stars to the background or the background to the stars? It can make a difference in contrast, but we'll have a little look. No, definitely the stars to the background, I think, in this case. That's great. Then what we do is I'll do a final little bit of curves to just kind of bind the whole thing together. And what we're going to use for that is just a little bit of RGBK I'm going to just enhance the brightness a bit, increase the contrast, not too much, start again. It's such a, you don't want to do much, it's like that much, and maybe that much. There you have it. And we don't want to go any further. What I'm going to do is just save it a minute and I'll just view it separately. D2 Lounge. That's the Rosette Nebula in SHO narrowband palette. Thanks for watching.